Area of triangles. So before we do that, let's look at our do now about area of parallelograms. Joseph is painting the flag of Brunei, a country in Southeast Asia near Indonesia, for a geography project at school. How many square inches will he cover with white paint? So here is the parallelogram right here. So to find the area of a parallelogram, you multiply two numbers, the base and the height. The base of this is 72. Well, actually, depending on how you look at it, if you turn your head around, the base would be 8 and the height would be 72. But in commutative property, doesn't matter how you multiply. If you have written 72 times 8 or 8 times 72, it'll still be equivalent. So let's multiply these two numbers. 72 times 8, 576 squared inches. That is how much space it will cover this map or this flag. So the area of parallelogram is based on height. Remember, a parallelogram is like a rectangle. Think of it as almost a lopsided rectangle. So you have a rectangle. You take off part of the triangle. You segment it right here, and then you move it to the other side. It becomes a parallelogram. So how do you do area of triangle? It's two formulas. You can either do half of the base times the height, or base times height, you divide a number by 2. It's the same thing. So why do you do this? Why is it? Well, here is a square. Imagine the square. The base is 4 and the height is 4. So what is the area of the square? 16 squared units. However, if I divide it into two parts, you now have a triangle. So if I divide that into two parts, 16 divided into two parts, it'd be 8 square units per triangle. Hence, a triangle is base and height and half of a square. Same thing with a rectangle. Here's a rectangle. This base is 10 inches. The height will be 4 inches. What is the area of this rectangle? Base times height is 40 square inches. However, can you get a triangle out of this? Yes, you can right here. Put a diagonal right there. And what is half of that 40 square units? 20 square units. So base times height divided by 2, or half of the base times the height. So I like either one. Base times height is 40, divided by 2 is 20 square inches. What kids always have a problem is they always do base times height. That's all they do. It's like, aren't you supposed to divide it into two parts? It's like, oh yeah, I forgot. So let's look at an example. What is the base? Base is base is 10 feet. What is the height? 5 feet. Beware, when you measure your height, it's standing up straight. You're not slouching. So this is the height. This would not be the height. In 8th grade, or actually 7th grade, you'll be learning a word called hypotenuse. This is the hypotenuse. We do not talk about that. These are the two, the sides. So this is the base, this is the height. So 10 times 5, what's the formula again? Base times height over 2, or divide by 2, or half of base times height. So base times height is 50. 50 divided by 2 is 25 square feet. Or you could have done half of the base, which is 5, times 5 is 25 square feet. Excuse me. Next triangle. Oh, let's go back again. So why are we dividing by 2? This is really a rectangle right here. You see that rectangle right there? So you're doing 10 times 5 is 50. A triangle, if we decompose it or break it into two parts, that's where you get your triangle from. That's why we're dividing by 2. Next one. What is the base? 20 inches. What is the height? 14 inches. So base times height divided by 2. 20 times 14 is 280. Divided by 2 is 140 square inches. Again, why is that so? Here is a rectangle. What's the area of this rectangle? 280. To form this triangle, you have to divide it into two parts. All right, next one. Find the area now. So base times height divided by 2. Many ways. Just put your head to the side. This is the base. This is the height. If you rotate it, turn your head, this is the base, this is the height. So it's 9 1/3 times a height of 22 divided by 2. So, a couple ways you can do this. Well, we know, remember I said that you have done half of the base times the height. So half of 22 times 9 1/3. I'm going to break down some numbers because I don't want to work with larger numbers. What's half of 22? What's 22 divided by 2? 11. So then it's 9 1/3 times 11. I rather multiply that by, then multiply by 22 and divide by 2. So half of 22 is 11 times 9 1/3. So what do you remember about multiplying fraction? Well, 11 has to be a fraction, put 11 over 1. How do you write 9 1/3 as mixed number into an improper fraction? Popcorn method for me. 3 times 9 is 27. 1 more is 28/3 times 11 over 1. So I know it's going to be a third there. So what's 28 times 11? That's 8, 2, 8, 2, 8, 10. 308 over 3 is the squared centimeters. I mean, this is an okay answer, but you know what? I really should put it back to a mixed number. So what is 308 divided by 3? It goes in goes in 1 time, goes in 0 times, goes in 2 times. So it's 102 2/3 squared centimeters. So 102 2/3 squared centimeters. That's the area. So again, why is that so? If you had found the area of the rectangle, you have multiplied 22 times 9 1/3, then you divide it into half. This is what you have got to. So I guess the area of the rectangle would have been 204. Break that up with 1/3. 2/3 plus 2/3 is 4. That's 1 1/3. So 205 1/3. It's the original area of the rectangle. Decompose it by dividing by 2, and then you get this. All right, next one. Clinton bought a triangular plot of land. The base is 9 and the height is 12. Find the area in squared miles. So again, half of the base times the height, or base times height divided by 2. Choose whichever one that makes sense to you. Well, the base is 9, the height is 12. 9 times 12 is 108, I believe. Divided by 2 is 54 squared miles. That is the area of this. Again, why? I guess you're tired of me seeing why. This is a square. You decompose it, divide it by 2. So now we can do, what happens if you put rectangles and squares together? In 7th grade, this is called composite figures, where you have to find the area of all these mesh shapes. So let's see what you remember. What's the area of a rectangle again? Base times height. So 13 times 4 is 52 square feet. What is the area of this triangle? Base times height divided by 2. So 15 times 4 is 60. 60 divided by 2 is 30 square feet. So let's put them together now. So what happens if you have a triangle with a rectangle put together? Composite. Find the area of the rectangle. So we just did this a few seconds ago. 13 times 4, let's go back to our previous screen, is 52 square feet. And find the area of the triangle. Did we just do this a few seconds ago? 15 by 4. Let's see if it's the same number, please. Yes, it is. So if this is 4, this has to be 4 feet. So 15 times 4 is 60. Divided by 2 is 30 square feet. So together, what is the total area of this? It is 82 square feet. Let's try a different one now. Let's make it a little harder now. Find the area of the rectangle. Well, it's base times height. So it's 9 5/10 times 6. And what is 9 5/10 times 6? I have no idea. 57 squared centimeters. So we'll write this out. The area of this is 57 square centimeters. Find the area of the triangle. base times height, 5 times 6, divide by 2. 5 times 6 is 30. That would have been a full rectangle, but it's a triangle. Divided into two parts is 5 times 6 is 30, 15 square centimeters. So together, the rectangle is 57 square centimeters. The triangle is 15 square centimeters. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 72 square centimeters. So we're not going to do this one. So the main thing what we learned here is a triangle is really a rectangle that is divided into two parts. So if you decompose or break down a rectangle by dividing it along its diagonal, you will have a triangle. So that's why to find the area, you do base times the height, which is the area of the rectangle. Then you divide it into two parts, and then you'll find the area of the triangle. So that's what area of triangle is.